time. I'm sick, but this is a physical sport. And if you want it, you gotta go get it. You gotta play hard for it. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? Because if you quit right now, you ain't gonna never see it.
As a kid, from age 5 onwards, I had a big imagination. The games on my PlayStation 2 and Xbox were primitive, so I had to make my own backstory to enjoy them. I would always play me, but my backstory would vary from title to title. In one game, I'd be the last surviving soldier in my platoon, or I'd be the best pool player in the world. Even games without storylines weren't safe. As long as it was in first person, I'd put myself right as the protagonist. I was never very good at racing games. I loved Gran Turismo 3 and all the early Need for Speed games. I wouldn't call myself a car person, but I like to think I know more about cars than most people. I will never own a car I dislike, even if it means cutting corners or spending more money. I learnt how a combustion engine works in Air Cadets, and even started racing electric cars in secondary school. As I grew older, I became better at video games. I could beat Forza on easy difficulty, and that was all I needed to keep me happy. Being at the front of the pack was insane, and I didn't care how many crutches the game was given. I began driving in first person, even opting for manual transmission. Actually, Forza taught me how to use the clutch in a real car, and it gave me all the tools I needed to become a better virtual racer. After watching a 3Clicks Philip video on Dirt Rally, I had to get the game. I bought it as soon as I could because he spoke about how demanding the game was, and how unforgiving the races are, and explaining that you improve with the game at a very steady pace. After getting the game, I was suddenly pushed right back to the last place. I had to surrender my first-person perspective in favour of being able to control my car more precisely, and the gearbox had to go too, as I couldn't keep up with the fast pace of rallying demands. I still make myself little backstories for games like this. Ashley Robinson is the youngest rally driver on the scene, and no one knew who she was until Neil Cole, yes, that's the real name of the co-driver of Dirt Rally, took her under his wing. He was impressed with her driving, even if she couldn't hold a drift for longer than 2 seconds. He watched her grow in talent and confidence, despite everyone telling him that Ash was a lost cause. It didn't stop him being a co-driver with her, gritting his teeth as the car rolled on his roof time after time. Then came the finals for the Clubman Championship. This was Ashley's chance to prove herself as the rally driver she knew she was. Winning the Open Championship wasn't that impressive. She was desperate to launch herself and her co-pilot around the tracks as fast as possible in the hopes of claiming victory. Often, at the end of these races, my car wouldn't look like a car anymore. The crumple points did their job of protecting the driver, but with limited time to fix the vehicle between races, my situation became more desperate. My lap times got longer and longer as the Ford R2000 began to split at the seams. The final took place in Powys, Wales. Having gone to university in Wales, I felt like this was the perfect place to get my foot in the door in the racing career. I was constantly 4th in the championship, though only the top 3 races from each championship will be able to progress to the next stage. Okay, I know it sounds like bad fan fiction, but when you're getting to the rhythm of rallying, your mind starts to drift. Imagine the conversations you have with your pit crew, and the tiresome press you'd get for popping a tyre or losing at the old wing mirror in the unforgiving landscapes of Sweden. The final part of the tournament was upon Ash. With little time to waste on fixing her already beaten up R200, she took it upon herself to try and bend the drive shaft back into place with a hammer. The whole championship was in jeopardy when I fell off the course, only to rejoin it, completely confused over which way to go. I was 1 second off being disqualified, losing all my progress. Then began my final race.
3, 2, 1, go. 1-6,
When real rally drivers actually race, they only put about 70% of their effort into it. If they were to fully exert themselves, they risk their own life and the life of their partner. It's a truly dangerous motorsport, so it's important that the driver keep their safety in the forefront of their vision. I was actually beating my split time. I could feel myself putting 110% of my focus into the speed of my turns. I had to make up about 15 seconds to match the co-driver ahead of me, and I was fully aware of that while racing. I knew it was dangerous to do this, I was fully aware of that, but it didn't matter to me at the time. The red and white warning tape became a guideline for the back of my car. I even began trying to hit a few Scandinavian flicks to increase my time. It was working, I could see 3rd place right in front of me. When you take a risk, you have to accept the possible consequences. I wanted to cry at this point. I put so much of my time and effort into securing myself a decent lap time. As my car got automatically placed back on the muddy track, the plus 15 seconds notification informed me that I'd lost my race. The rest of the course wasn't really exciting. I wasn't taking risks, and I wasn't putting all my effort into it. I knew I'd came fourth far before the finishing line told me. When the race finished, I got up from my PC and paced for a bit. This win had consumed me, and I genuinely felt terrible. Not only because I lost the championship, but because I knew the backstory of my character would suffer as well. After a while, I sat back at my desk. Stepping out of her car, Ashley wasn't met with crossed arms, and the co-driver didn't give up on her. People were cheering. They expected her to place dead last and 16th. The fact that she managed to get in the top 10 was incredible, let alone 4th. Next time, I said to myself. I learned a lot from this race, and the game itself. It sort of taught me a life lesson. Don't tunnel your focus on one thing. Each race in life, every obstacle you face, is all blurred into one bigger picture. If you want to win the race, you have to want to win the race, but don't let it get in the way of your success and your friendships.